Hello, hello. I'm Janey, and I am the host of your Journey with Janey podcast. This is very impromptu, so the hairband's in. I'm out on shepherding duties because the shepherd who looks after our animals is off on a well-deserved break. So I have the pleasure of being out in the wonderful countryside that I call home. So for those of you who are listening, I'll try and describe what is behind me. I'm looking directly into the sun, so not great. But I'm pleased to see the sun is shining today. And I would just like to say the background and the backdrop, I will do a full-on 360 panoramic vision for all those watching. But over to my left, I have the Simonside Hills. Looking sort of straight back behind me is the part of R, which is the Scottish border. You can see some of the hills there. Directly behind me is the village of Elsdon and across towards Bellingham. And then looking out to the right, we're looking down the valley, which takes the road down into Ponteland. So it's an absolutely glorious morning, and I apologise that I'm in my hoodie and look like I do. My phone is propped on a fence post, so if for some reason a sheep comes past or a dog comes flying in and the phone goes on the floor, I do apologise. You will still hear me. I'm just going to pause for a little bit because I can hear the birds tweeting in the heather behind, which I'm looking forward to showing you once that starts to flower. So I'm just going to pause for 5. Eyes closed. Deep breath. Just connect. In all honesty, I think I'd probably just lie down on the grass here and just lie and listen to those birds tweeting in the background there. Apologies if I get distracted because there's all sorts of wildlife flying around, and I have the shepherd's collies out for a run as well. So anyway, thought I'd hop on because we're nearing halfway point of 2025. And I'm just wondering if you had thought about what you've actually achieved these first 6 months of the year. One of the things that we're taught in mentorship is to reflect, review, and rewrite on a regular basis. And I spent part of yesterday doing just that, especially over the last 90 days, where we've been doing quite an intensive training mission with Kim, with 1 day daily sort of missions to keep us focused. And it got me thinking, what have I actually achieved in these last 90 days? And when I started writing, I was like, what have I done? Started to question what I had actually done over the last 90 days, and then ended up with a full A4 piece of paper. And it's not until you sit and write things down that you realise what you have actually done, achieved, and been productive in the time that you've actually been doing stuff. Because we can all be doings. That's my favourite saying at the minute. I'm a human being, not a human doing. So sometimes it's all about being, which I think has probably come across in the last few podcasts that I've done. and finding myself and my inner me, I think probably is the way to put it, when I was away in Bermuda, and finding the trust, belief and faith in myself, and also the faith that there is a one source, a universe, a God that we're all connected to, and believing that we can embrace that and be guided by where our intuition sends us. Which is why I'm stood here today. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before. The word podcast kept popping into my head. I kept writing it down most of last year, if I'm honest, through 2024, and thought, why would I want to do a podcast? But I do know that I'm, reaching people and helping people who download on a weekly basis, listen to my babblings about absolutely nothing. And I do know that it is helping people. So the whole idea of me starting this podcast was to show my growth. I'm sure if you look back to my first video, it's probably, well, you tell me what the first video was like, and let me know whether I've improved over the 26 episodes that we've done, whether I'm giving you value. And if I'm not, can you let me know? And I can start and give value on a subject that you want me to talk about, if it links into grief and growth. Always remember that grief isn't just death. It can be absolutely anything. So, yeah, I'm distracted by a collie now that's wanting to try and get on the camera. So, yes, reflect, review, rewrite. Actually think about what you're going to do in the next 6 months. Do you actually plan? Do you actually put a list of what you want to achieve in the next 6 months? I know for somebody who is maybe just struggling to jump out of bed every morning to make a cup of coffee, thinking 6 months ahead isn't going to help you. Although it could. You could think about where you want to be at Christmas. And I know Christmas, if you're in the grief world, brings back memories, etc. And there's tools and techniques to work towards that. Anyway, I've digressed. We're on about reflect, review, rewrite. So I actually did an interview with one of Kim's team in Dynamite Lifestyle called Conscious Conversations way back in November of 2023, which was my 1 year into mentorship. And for some reason, when I was doing this reflect, review, rewrite yesterday, it's like, oh, I'm going to go and listen to that. And I listened and I was like, oh, book 3 was supposed to be out and about and, published by now. And that just shows the work that I had to do on myself over that period of time between November 23 and until now, that it was Bermuda that helped me get back into my writing. And I think that was, well, from my understanding, that was God's way of saying, you're not ready, you're going to write something you don't really need to. And now I know that what I write and publish for you guys towards the end of the year will be a soul aligned from the heart grief guide as a story, my story of dealing with grief while I was away in Bermuda, because there were waves of grief, and I spoke about that while I was away. So yeah, that is where I'm heading in the next 6 months. There will be a book 3 heading out by Christmas, and also getting me out there into businesses, and just sharing my wisdom with everybody that we can make progress. I don't want to call it a process. I know I've said this before. I don't like the word process. We can make progress by taking small steps. And if we aim to be 1% better each and every day, by the end of the year, I mean, I know we're halfway through the year and my maths is not great, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to say half of 365, you can be that percent better by the end of the year. If you do 1% better each day, and that could be a small thing. It could be tidying and clearing your desk every day at the end of the day, so you've got a clean sheet to start the following day. It could be putting the dishes in the dishwasher before you go to bed at night, rather than leaving them on the bench as a job to do the next morning. It could be tidying up those books. Could be cleaning out your wardrobe. What about all those clothes that you haven't worn for years that you might happen to wear at some point? Anyway, that's me babbling on this morning, and I have to get these doggies back, check the sheep and the cows. So I'm going to spin the camera around for those of you who are watching on the channel that you watch on. And yeah, always remember, there's something inside of you that knows no limits. It's time to believe in you. So this is actually looking out onto the hill where the heather will be starting to flower. Probably can't see it very well. The heather is a deep purple, and I will head back up here at some point once it's flowering. And that's looking across to the hills. Well, we're all hills here. And doggies, sheep, lots of hills, lots of fields. Oh, that spoiled it. There's my transport. I haven't walked all the way up here this morning. So, stunning. I could sit here all day, especially on a morning like this. So, thank you for listening, guys. Take care.